Hey, it's 3 a.m. The internet kind of took a poop, as it often does. It's fine. It's back. See, these people are yucking it up. You should too. Yeah, all those bands that I had made a pastiche of, shall we say, came to my house and punched me in the teeth. They unplugged my wireless card. All the while dangling it in front of my face saying, "Hey you, what you gonna do?" And I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It was the true passenger experience, blackouts and all. Something like that. Something like that. God. Well, thanks for indulging my dumb MIDI everything. According to Mitomo, I'm now friends with the guy who, in Japanese, his name is Boy Love Programmer. That's good. I'm glad we can be friends. If you're watching, keep on doing what you're doing. Man, this is actually a really cool idea for a roller coaster. Like, that sort of stuff, that's super cool. Did I get a new mic? Nope, same one I've had for years. Can I upload Hofriga? I'd have to re-render it out and change all the transposing because I didn't save it. That's not a very good view, by the way. Like, this is actually kind of cool, you know? Like that, you go up and then you go back and around like that, upside down. Like, you might die. Your face doesn't clip through all the bars. We can build bars around the track. Probably. I mean, this is the year 2016. We can do a lot of things. The underground part is well rendered. The underground part goes way too fast. Man, this reminds me of Stunt Track Driver, where you just have all the little plastic tracks running through some dude's garden in a hole you dug out. And it was always one of those, like, I want to do that in real life things, and then you realize your Hot Wheels just get gummed up and rusted. Bugs Bunny, Michael Titus, Space Jam. If it worked, that would have been perfect, but sadly, it does not. But maybe one day. Also, I don't understand what happened to this part. One of these parts is just straight broken. Yeah, that. What's this? Well, never mind. That's not broken. The real broken piece is this one, where something happened, and I don't know what. But it's not exactly good, to be quite honest. Still works though, over and over. You listen to Mad Dummy by Smash Mouth? Oh yeah, that was also pretty good. One of the few things I posted on Tumblr, and then I realized, I don't know what I'm going to use this for. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hey now. It'll be fine. See? It's functional. Sort of. Let me save this. My park is good. No, don't save over that one. New save game. My park is less good. My park is less go. My park is less ha. Because we all know Titus laughing is a synonym for good, I would say. If you're just tuning in, A, I'm sorry, B, some terrible things have been made in this game. Like my tentacle monster. Wait for it. Surprise! Or my burger rave. Or this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ride this again. It's been a while. I've forgotten what quality feels like. Also, this ride is a burger. And that ride is skulls, which gave me inspiration for the next ride I'll show you. Also, there's this, which goes to the top, and then to the bottom, and then it has a hairpin turn. Except it's a broken hairpin turn, and I can't find it. Oh yeah, that. So from the top of the map to that, there's like a frame, and then it flips over. Frame rate's doing bad things, is it? It's fine on my end. Well, maybe not. Let me re-add it. Close some extra junk. Planet Coaster. That's the one. Also, this is at, like, maximum CPU usage, because I've sort of made too much garbage. Is this better? Where's the ride on this? Oh, that's not the part. Is it better? Is it worse? Set pc.exe in Task Manager. pc.exe is like one of those things your dad tells you to look for. Hey Tim, can you fix the pc.exe? I can't access my email. Can you fix my CPU? It's not better. Alright, well, let me ignore that problem and just go first person on this, and we'll just pretend the frame rate's good. Right? Right. It's not 6 frames per second, is it? Is Planet Coaster really that dense? No, but I am. Also, yes, Planet Coaster is sort of a little framey. Settings. Graphics. Preset. Low. Okay. Oh, hey, want to know a thing about Planet Coaster? Planet Coaster, when you... I don't know if this is better. If it's CPU limited, turning the graphics down won't do a lot. But Planet Coaster is one of those rare games in, like, 2016 that after you install, makes you restart your computer. When is the last time you've had to do that? After you install something, and then it has a mandatory restart. Like, what year are we in? I can't remember the last time it's actually been, you need to restart the computer. Not just like, well, you know, we recommend it. Like, no, it is straight up, I'm restarting now. Like, getting this game to work, it's such a pain in the butt. Like, the setup process. So somebody gifted me the game, and I shouldn't complain because it was free. But, okay. So I got an email from Frontier Software, whoever made this, and it gave you a code for the game. So then you have to go onto their website and make an account. Then you punch in the code, and then it gives you like an access area that you go and you click and you download the launcher for the game. Now when you go into the launcher for the game, you can't load the game. Oh no, it has to email you a separate code, which you then put in the game again to confirm, yes, you bought it. And then it downloads the game. And then you play it. I just thought, oh, hey, here's a code. I'll dump it into something, Steam will pop up, download, done. And then it makes you restart, like midway anyway. It's just... And it didn't even restart for the game. It restarted for the Frontier launcher, which I will never use. Also, what is happening in the background? The game's on pause, but these people are not. Huh. Well, that happened. I wonder if I go over to them if they're actually moving. No, they're not. Just a weird scaling thing at low graphics, I guess. I want to ride. There we go. Is this better? I can't tell. I hope it is. I turned the graphics on low. This looks way worse. Oh man. It's not better, apparently. Oh, well, let me turn it back up then. I don't want to have to suffer for frame rate. Crank it. Yay. Confirm. Maybe I should just restart it. That might work. Could it be the computer overheating? I doubt it. CPU, 19, 18, 17, 16. Down from 100. Alright, dump that. My desktop is covered in MIDIs. And then, after you're done installing the launcher and the game, you get this, because I don't know. Thanks, Frontier. I just want to play video games, because everything else is really lame. Planet Coaster. Play. What is Elite Dangerous? Because they have it advertised on the Frontier launcher, and I don't know anything about it, except that it's 2 adjectives, and I might have seen it on Twitch. I should just play hold-on screens. Those don't let me down. Probably. This is that Frontier, yes. See? You might like these other things. I can join them on Twitter, but I won't. Is the frame rate better? Because if that didn't do it, I've got no other solutions. Judging by my preview, I want to say the answer's probably no. Not really. Oh. Well, I don't know. Let me see. What's running in the background, if anything? Nothing really. Planet Coaster. Why am I at 99% CPU from Planet Goddamn Coaster? Is it because I've got 1,000 Firefox windows open? There, now I'm only at 97 CPU. There, perfect. Check this. Huh? 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 I had a really bulky GeoCities page in the background. Tell me it's better. Tell me it's better. Alright, that's good enough. I just put too much junk in this, and it's probably just not going to be happy because there's too many assets in this. I just want to see people be consumed by my giant hellscape. Yeah. You know, going through the loops in a really low frame rate might actually be better. It might be XSplit, because sometimes when I lose the internet, XSplit kind of... I don't know. I'm just guessing. Ta-da. Video games. How about that? It's much worse. I don't know then. I couldn't tell you what the answer is. I wish I had an answer for you, but unfortunately I don't. I'm sorry about your frame rate. It is a tragic loss to us all. Here's my death pit. I think it's pretty good. Whee. How long's the line? Not that long. Oops. It's only actually down here. This is not the line, this is just a really long platform that connects all these other baby rides. So when you're going up the really big ride, it gives you a moment to sit back and reflect on the other rides you should have been on. The overlapping music's great, it's like pirate hell. And then there are some arrows indicating the direction that you're going to go. And then inside the skulls are pirates, which you can see through the eyes, except I covered them up in red lights. See? It's so incredibly dumb, but I really get a kick out of this. And you want to know why the game runs like garbage? Because there's like... that. There's probably like 30 or 40 or more pirate assets in only this one part of the screen. So, it's not a hardware issue, it's I kinda screwed this up issue. I wonder if I can get a view of the coaster from inside the skull eye. Oh, that'd be interesting. I wonder. It's not that that one monkey is dead, it's that it's on top of 1,000 other monkeys, so when one deactivates, you see it. Funky Kong plays a mean accordion. Oh, Jesus. That... wow. Oh, that's amazing. Is it coming up? I want to get one last glimpse at the riders before they're gone. Now there is no slow motion. Here they come! Man, that's great. Actual pirates. The MIDI program is called Synth Font. There's just that really one disgruntled monkey who just wants no part in this. Now the Donkey Kong sequels got strange. Nah! Oh Jesus, I looked away for 1 minute. Is this killing the frame rate? Is it actually? Is that the problem? Is it all the monkeys? Cut off one head and 2 more grow in its place. What is playing rock music up here? Is it the toilet? Chief Beef. Wait. It's not coming from inside. Where is that? The frame rate dies when I move the camera. Like this? Oh well. I mean, look at all the things that I just stacked up. Like, look at the Z fighting on this. It's just busted. There are so many objects on this, in this one park. You want to know why the pirate music is so loud everywhere? It's because there's a dozen pirates just overlapped. Like down here. It doesn't do that normally. The pirates turn on and then off. And that's it. Why did I delete the pirates? Because I'd have to go and get rid of all the skulls because I embedded them in there too. Oh well, at least the midis worked. Anyway. I need to kill that. Guys, it's like 3:30 in the morning and I'm screen capping the wrong part of my screen. Hey, it's 3:30, and I think I'm gonna call it. Also need to clean off my desktop because it is a nightmare. Which is the one MIDI that I liked? Was it Space Jam? No, it was Cotton Eye Joe featuring Titus. That's the one. Yup. Quality. Anyway, it's late o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, and I think I'm going to call it a night on this. Thanks for watching Planet Coaster. I don't have any brilliant ideas for what to stream next, so if you have something you want to see, go and yell at me on Twitch. Or you can yell at me on Twitter. I like to be yelled at. No, I don't. Well, sometimes. Twitter's the place to go if you want to see me microwave a creme brulee and realize that's a stupid thing to do. But it seemed pretty smart at the time. But, let's see, title this broadcast, Sleep, Now Playing, Sleep is Death. There, take me out of the game database, I just want to hide and microwave my creme brulee. Anyway, off to bed and stuff, I guess. Thanks for watching. Maybe stream again this weekend? I don't know. Offhand. It's a possibility. So, hope to see you there? Maybe. Possibly. Can you get that file? I posted it in the chat. Speaking of the chat, here's a command. You can go and talk at off hours. And yell at me in the chat, which I am sometimes there. Or perhaps you can buy this or other fine products on Amazon in case you need an optical mouse with a digital scale and a stash for your esports performance enhancers. That's a thing. And I guess that's mostly it. Hang out in the chat for a bit if you want. I'm gonna brush my teeth and probably fart around in the chat for a bit while I run some adverts and hold on screens so I can eventually afford my own drug mouse, which is the idea. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Good night. Time for hold-ons and commercials.
while I put you in a trance. And let's party, boogie in your body. Work that body, make sure you don't hurt nobody. I say, hey, 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 feeling the fire with a burning desire. Yeah, get up off of that thing. Dance, shake, and let's swing. Come on, girl, let me rock the world. While I put you in a trance, and let's party, boogie in your body. Work that body, make sure you don't hurt nobody. I say, hey, hey, hey.